Hey, Kyle, what do you think about the Red Sox? Is there a big thought bubble over your head? Just like,
This is what Kyle thinks now.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. Kyle is here. How are you doing tonight, Kyle?
I'm doing great. I'm here.
You're here.
We're here.
We're here, yes. We're sort of making the rounds back for our OG couches. And this is the really OG couch, because this is the second ever couch that we ever filmed on.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And we're back.
Good old leather couch.
We're still back, folks. But, yeah, very excited to be here tonight for another rousing edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. And this is a very exciting episode because last night, obviously last episode was the first time in 13 months that we had filmed an actual On a Couch edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. But for tonight's episode, we're going to discuss something that I did actually last night, which was the first time that I had done in over 13 months, literally since July of 2019, if you can believe it. And actually, the last time I did this thing was with Kyle.
That's right.
And that was
fun game.
I attended a Boston Red Sox game at Fenway Park. That's right, folks. I was there at Fenway last night as the Red Sox took on the Detroit Tigers. First game since July of 2019. It was an awesome, awesome experience. And the Red Sox won 11-7.
Oh, nice.
And they had 4 home runs, too, which was amazing. But I was very excited to be back at Fenway. I mean, you have no idea how much I've been looking forward to this day for the last year plus. And so I was telling, obviously, Kyle about sort of the experience. So I wanted to, about how I was going to the game. So what I wanted to sort of give Kyle a chance to do is sort of do a little Q&A with me about the experience and what it was like being back at Fenway Park, like I said, for the first time since 2019, but also being back at Fenway Park, we are still obviously in the midst of a pandemic and pandemic living. Obviously, like I said, fully vaccinated, definitely feeling, comfortable enough to head out to the good old ballpark again. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of give Kyle a chance to ask any questions about the experience, and sort of with the help of Kyle and this little Q&A we're going to do, sort of take you through what it was like. So I guess, Kyle, whatever questions or whatever way you want to guide this discussion, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, so I guess the first question I wanted to ask was, I guess overall, how would you say the entire experience was, just as a normal game?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, obviously the Red Sox won, which is great. That was very much added. That was very much of made it a pleasant experience just in and of itself. It was great. I mean, hey, listen, I know that there were, again, as we'll get into, there was, certain protocols and things that were in place and stuff like that. And, smaller crowd size, obviously, this time around. But it still felt in a lot of ways like the quintessential Fenway experience. I mean, it felt like in a lot of ways, once you sort of got past all that sort of outside stuff, like you were at a game, back in 2019 or, whenever, the last time was you've been to Fenway Park. It definitely, in a lot of ways, felt like I said, watching a normal Red Sox game, which was really nice. I mean, just to be there, just to be inside Fenway, like I said, first time since July of 2019, to be back in that park and to be able to see the Red Sox in person, hear the crack of the bat up close and personal, and cheer for them, and just hear the different in-game entertainment experiences that go on during a classic Fenway game, like Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Sweet Caroline,
Mm.
and Dirty Water when they win the game, it
So they
was.
still got the same soundtrack, huh? That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, nothing has changed in that regard. No, it was.
Yeah, I can't imagine they make any changes to that.
Yeah,
Anyway, so.
no, it was an awesome experience. It really was, and I
Nice.
can't wait to get back again. But no, it was great.
Nice. Were there any of the rules? And because I know you started to mention about the rules and protocols and stuff like that. Were there any that were kind of a bit too much to handle while you were there?
No, nothing at all. I mean, it was basically, you obviously, they really sort of spread. Obviously, it's only 12% capacity right now, so they really try to make sure they spread everybody out, sort of maintain social distancing, so to speak. And what you'll notice if you go to a game is like the seats that aren't sold, so to speak, are actually zip tied, so people can't really be like moving around, and like getting too close to people that are not in their party, so to speak.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And obviously, you have to wear masks, on the concourse and in your seats. If you're not actively like eating or drinking something, you have to keep your mask on. And then when you like go into the game, along with the normal security procedures, they also have you fill out like a health screening questionnaire just before you enter the ballpark and all that with your phone and all that. So, but I mean, honestly, there was nothing, burdensome. I mean, like if you go to like only like some of the concession stands are open. Like it was very limited, like what concession stands were open, and like there was like a glass panel like up in front of the concession stands, obviously to protect the employees and stuff like that. But even that was like, I mean, it wasn't anything different than like if you're going, to any place, these days, to pick up, a takeout order or something like that. It's very, like I said, it was very easy to handle. Maybe a little bit, you kind of have to speak up a little bit because with the mask and with the glass, it's a little bit hard for the food service people to hear you maybe a little bit if you don't speak too, concisely and enunciate and, all that good stuff. So, but like I said, it was... Yeah, to answer your question in a bit of a long-winded way, there really was nothing that was like insurmountable or anything like that. It's kind of like the normal Fenway experience with some obvious additions, for everyone's protection. So,
but that's understandable. They got to do their thing, just like every other place. That has a lot of people coming in and out of it. Like obviously, you got to have your protocols and everything. But what was I going to say? Oh, so I know you said some of the food places were a bit more limited. So I was going to ask you kind of a two-part question. One was I was going to ask you actually which food they did have there that were still open, and specifically, did they have Tasty Burger and Dell's Lemonade at all?
So I didn't see any Tasty Burger and Dell's Lemonade. Again, I didn't really like, I didn't really go exploring too much in terms of the concession, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the like, it seemed like a lot of these sort of like specific concession stands, that they used to have were closed. It was more, like the general stuff. Like they had hot dogs, sausages, pizza, chicken, French fries, sodas, beer, all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Quite like, I mean, all like, for me, I had what did I have? I had a pizza, and I had a couple slices of pizza, and some M&Ms and a water. And I mean, I know.
Is it like the Sal's pizza, like the really big?
No, it was Regina's. Yeah, Fenway is always Regina's pizza.
Oh my god,
TD Garden is Sal's.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, but which was good. I mean, I've always enjoyed Regina's pizza, so it's kind of like it was kind of nice to be able to have that again.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so definitely limited options, but still, still a good quality food that you get at Fenway. So
okay. So let me think. So I know you were talking about like the seating area, and like it sounded like that they they were like a little more loose, like when you were sitting down, whether you had your mask on or off, right?
So basically, the rule is you have to have your mask on if you're not actively eating or drinking something.
Okay.
So, like, obviously, like, when we got there, we got dinner and stuff like that. So, when we were having that, obviously our masks were down. But
Yeah.
otherwise, they really want people to, have their masks on. I mean, the ushers were sort of coming around, just sort of keeping an eye on things. And
Oh, okay.
I mean, listen, I'd be lying if I said that, everyone was sort of looking around me. Everyone was like 100%, sort of complacent or complacent. Everyone was sort of obeying that rule 100% of the time. Especially as the game sort of got on and on. But I mean, they definitely did their best. Especially, the ushers were really, coming around reminding people and stuff like that. So they really were trying to stay on top of things. And there were a good number of people that were doing the right thing. If they were sitting,
Yeah.
not eating or drinking, that they had their masks on. I know, obviously, we did. Want to make sure we're following the rules. And all of that. So, but yeah, I mean, I would say. It was maybe kind of a mixed bag would be the best way to describe it, but
Right.
it was, they definitely they were definitely trying their best and really like, whatever however they could sort of emphasize the rules and all that they were definitely doing. So
Okay. And it was okay for you to like get around like to the concession stand.
oh yeah.
Were there any like major lines you had to like
No,
worry about? Or...
no. I mean, like I said, it's sort of the limited 12. It's a 12% crowd, so it's a limited crowd. There weren't, a lot of people in the concession lines at every one time, and they sort of were able to keep people spaced out and all of that. When if you were sort of, and even like, the bathroom. I mean, there was really. You could kind of have at least all the couple times I went to the restroom, you kind of had your pick of where you wanted to go because there really was not a whole lot of people inside, at any given time, which was good. So
okay,
yeah, no, it was very easy to get around and very easy to sort of navigate things like I was saying before. So yeah, it was I keep coming back to. It was overall a very very positive experience.
good. And one of the last questions I wanted to ask, because now I feel like we went over a lot of the stuff about like the audience and like how the crowd kind of was going through all the stuff that was all the changes and everything. How about the players? Did you notice, was there any difference with like when you were watching the players? Was there anything that they did differently than they would normally do at like a game?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, like, when they're in the dugout, have masks on and stuff like that, and
okay.
the coaches all have masks on.
Yeah.
Like when the pitching coach would come out to like talk to the pitcher, he'd have a mask on. And the
Okay.
umpires, for the most part, especially if they've like talked to a coach or something like that, have their masks on. So
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely are, a bit more sort of controlled in terms of like, but obviously, I think part of the players, they're getting sort of tested every day and all of that. So like they're, really being diligent with the players in terms of making sure that they're, safe and healthy and stuff like that. And they have, all these protocols, for the league and all of that in place.
Right.
So, I mean, they were still like, in the dugout, together and stuff like that. Like they've been, so many times before. But, there was definitely sort of, the masking and all of that that you could tell. But I mean, a lot. I mean, that's funny because like one of the first things I noticed is, I mean, you sort of go into the park and it looks kind of like a normal pregame, setup. The players are on the field, stretching and warming up, and the pitchers, throwing in the bullpen and all of that. So it really was like it was not it was not all that abnormal sight, in that regard as well. Like I said, you saw some of the players in the dugout masks and stuff like that, but even then, like you still saw a lot of the same actions out of the players that you would be used to seeing in any other seasons. So
okay.
So yeah, I think that there were minor things that you would see, but I think overall, it kind of looked pretty similar to any other given year, so to speak.
Okay, and so I did have two more questions to ask, just kind of minor ones.
Of course.
I forget if you mentioned this or not. Did the players actually have to wear masks while they were on the field, or did
No.
they?
No, the players did not wear masks when they were on the field.
Okay.
Like, even like at bat or anything like that. Like they did not have any masks on or anything like that. So no, the short answer is no. They were not masked up on the field. Just, but the main masking for like in the dugout and stuff like that. So
And I feel like this would be kind of fun one to top the whole Q&A session off. Is what would you say was your favorite play or your favorite moment of the game,
ooh, that is a really good question.
or even like top three? It doesn't have to be one. It can be like
I'm probably gonna say my top moments were the Red Sox 4 home runs. I think just
Okay.
kind of all in one. Just because anytime you see a home run, for especially your team, it's always a very exciting experience, and the crowd goes crazy and stuff like that. And, like the home run music is playing, and it like I said, just sort of it sort of ups that feel of like we're back. We're back at Fenway. We're here and all that. So
nice.
I thought that was really cool. And the last thing I don't mean to get too far off track from your question, but
No, that's all right.
one thing I did want to add is I actually, for the first time, like myself, I actually drove into a Red Sox game at Fenway. I didn't actually take the T
Right.
because those of you who've been watching the show over the years know my sister Sarah. Obviously, shout out to her. She was actually at the game with me last night, and she lives, right near Fenway Park, and so I actually parked in like a parking garage near where she lives, and it was a very short walk over
awesome.
to Fenway. So, and it was a very very inexpensive too. It was very inexpensive, in terms of it was way less than if you tried to park in some of these other ballpark parking lots where it's like $40 to $50
Oh my
to
God,
park and all that.
At least.
Yeah, like on a good day, but no, it was really nice, and again, just it definitely cut the commute time, at the end of the game, because basically I just get in the car and in less than 20 minutes I was home, so it was
Cool.
so that was very nice. But yeah, no, I think the home runs definitely were like the big time highlight of the game and of my night. So
Nice.
that
Rock
was
on, dude.
exciting. Yeah,
Cool. No, it sounds like you had a lot of fun. So
definitely. Any other questions?
no, I think that about tops it off. Was there anything you wanted to add?
I just had an amazing time. I'm very happy that they won. I'm very, again, first game back, and it's funny because the last game that I went to, they won, because obviously they beat the Yankees when you and I went. So it was perfect. For the last game I went to, they won. Now the first game back that I went to, they won. So it worked out perfectly.
These great bookends,
Yeah. So, and I obviously, I'm hoping to get back to other games, throughout this summer. I know Kyle and I have discussed trying to get out to a game
Yes.
this summer, which would be really exciting. So,
gotta take advantage of that warm weather,
Absolutely, definitely. So, we're now going to move on to sort of the end portion of our episode, which is always a fun time, and I will throw things over to the Suze himself to kick us off for our final segments with another Suze review. So take it away.
Okay, so a few months back, I actually ended up getting an Xbox One as a gift. It was the nicest gift, and this is actually my cousin gave it to me because he and this and it was kind of odd timing because he wanted to give it away because he got one of the new versions, and he gave me his old one. And this was actually right when I had COVID, so this is back in like end of January, beginning of February, and so I started a kind of a tiny game collection because I buy a lot of video games, and it's not it's not the best hobby to get into, but I found this one game, Halo: The Master Chief Collection. So I did want to talk about that because it's a very impressive collection of games because in the past there have been like a lot of other game compilations, whether it's like a series of different games that have come out a little while ago. Um, or just like they take like a specific like series, and then they put all the games like the Kirby Dream Collection, which I'll talk about another time too. But I wanted to focus on this one because it's one of the best video game collections I've ever seen, like ever. Because so on the back of the box, it reads that okay, you have the first four Halo games that came out, which is already a great collection. It's like it's already like you got so many great games there. But then after I installed the disc and they did a couple updates, I found out that they also had they completed the entire collection and had all the Halo side games. So you also got Halo 3 ODST. You had Halo Reach, which are both spin-off games, and that just kind of blew my mind. I'm like, whoa, they really put a lot of work in this collection, and it's all these like remasters where they kind of like cleaned up the graphics a bit. Especially from the older, like the first two Halo games came out on Xbox. So Halo is a sci-fi. For those of you who don't know, Halo is it's a sci-fi first-person shooter, and it pits you against this like you're basically in the middle of a war between this like these aliens that are invading Earth, and you have to protect you have to protect the Earth at all costs, and your Master Chief, this badass, like he's like this like super awesome soldier that can like strap himself to a bomb in space and like throw it onto like a ship, like no joke. That's actually what happens in the game, in the second game, and you just kind of follow him throughout the game. And there's not like a huge story. The story is not like the biggest part of this game. You play the game for the gameplay, and it's really cool. It's like it really revolutionized this type of genre because it kind of throws you into the battlefield, and you're not doing like a bunch of hallways like other first person shooters have done. They pretty much put you right into like an open field, and you can sometimes you have options where you can hop on vehicles and you can like drive them through different kinds of terrain, and the levels themselves are pretty varied. Like some have like snow levels, some are just like kind of these big giant like vast lands, and it really kind of gives you the sense of like it's not like an open world type of game, but it gives you a sense of a little bit of freedom, which is kind of cool. And just the gameplay usually feels very smooth. You can jump very fluidly, and the controls were never a complaint, I think, in the series. And it's just a great collection if you really do like those series, and especially if you've never played any of them. What it does too is actually they have special editions of the first and the second game, and they're called like the anniversary editions. And what they do is they take because those two games came out on the original Xbox, which the graphics for 2000 like for the 2000s they were pretty good, but they took those graphics and they made them even better. They just gave them the whole next gen treatment, and it looks really beautiful. And the cool thing is that when you play those games, you can actually switch back and forth. There's a little button on your controller you press, and it'll go from the old school graphics to the new graphics, like any point of the game. And so that's just kind of like a fun little feature. But if you really like those types of games, first person shooter, and whether you are a Halo fan or whether you've never played Halo and you want to try it out, it's a great game. Has a lot of great multiplayer. Halo is like one of the top series for if you want to just get into like multiplayer. You want to invite some friends over for split screen, or you just want to play online. It's got a lot of different options, so you don't have to just do single player. You can do multiplayer. They have all kinds of like different types of games you can do with it. So yeah, it's a good series.
Cool, very nice. Well, definitely you should listen to him and go play it. So. But thank you, Kyle, as always, for that lovely review. And now for my segment, the Robbie's pre-show food review. I think we've mentioned this place a couple times on past episodes. We definitely have gone here before some of our like on a walk or in a car episodes that we've done, so to speak. Tonight we had a lovely sort of little sandwich place in Chestnut Hill called Flatbreads. Which is amazing. It is an amazing place. It's located basically right off of Commonwealth Avenue, right over by BC.
Like right across from BC.
Yeah, literally right across the street. It's located like really right next to the the BC T stop on the B line and the Green line. So, highly recommend this place. I've been there multiple times. I've got a different thing every time. I've loved every single sandwich that I've gotten from that place. And the guy who works behind the counter is this awesome guy, very friendly, really does a great job. They have chips if you like chips, but they also have like fruit. They have, obviously drinks and stuff like that, dessert items. Like they have just so many different things to choose from, even just on the menu. They have so many different like variations of sandwiches and wraps and salads and all that stuff that you can choose from. You cannot go wrong with flatbreads. It's like one of those places where you could go there like 20 different times and get 20 different things, like get a different thing every single time. It's like that. It's that good, and
it's very affordable too. Like it's like not super expensive. No. Like you can get there and like they have
And they have this card. I think we may have mentioned this the first time. They have this card where like for each thing that you buy, you get a mark on the. I'm gonna.
Okay, go.
I'll pull it out. It kind of looks a little bit something like this. It's like a flatbread card, and basically you what's it called? You mark like each thing that you get. Mm-hmm. He marks down one of the squares, and then when you get to 10 things, you get like a free sandwich.
Yeah, and one cool little thing about that is that if you actually he counts it twice actually if you get a combo. So he says like if you get like any combination of 3 things. So if you get like a wrap, you can do wrap, fruit, drink, wrap, 2 bags of chips, wrap, drink.
He counts like everything as like one mark too, which is pretty wild. Yeah,
pretty much so.
No, it is a really, really great place, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's called Flatbreads. Again, right on Com Ave, right over by BC. So definitely go hit them up. They do a great job, and definitely go give them your business, whether it be lunch, dinner. They even have breakfast stuff too. So like breakfast, lunch, dinner. The only thing is they're only open till like I think it's like 8:00.
Yeah.
Or something like that. At night. So you definitely have to sort of get there on the early side if you wanna get food from there. But would highly recommend, as I know Kyle would as well. So
easily.
All right. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Thank you as always, everybody, for tuning in. We, as always, appreciate it and can't wait for next week's episode. And as always, he's Kyle, I'm Robbie, and we'll see you next time on the couch. Bye, everybody. You ready?
Go in the same page.
Let's go. Boom.
Let's do it.
Here you go. Ready? And
sorry.
Yeah, just a little pre-show fist bump.
Fist bump. Right? No, I was like, I'm hand.
Fist bump.
I lost my hand. I lost my bro. Okay, sorry. You never seen Moonstruck, did you? No. Okay.
All right. Quiet on the side. Over there. Right, and